How you doing, brother? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing good. A little bit tired up late covering the game, and because I was out there at the national title game last night, writing an article. Actually, I wrote about the.
There. What time did you get? What time did you get there?
Oh yeah, I got there early. So I took a media shuttle since we had more people going than we had parking passes available for our company, and which I wasn't far from where the media shuttle pickup location was, so that was fine for me. And then so I grabbed a 2 p.m. shuttle. So like you're leaving like at between 1 and 2 to get there. Take the shuttle, which was a police escort, so that part was all right. Security to get through, and then just like get out there early, and I checked out some of the outside that official tailgate party thing.
What time did you leave?
Oh, and I left. Yeah, like, what would it have been, like 1 something a.m.? Something like that. Like almost 2, maybe 1:30 a.m. So
I said yesterday when I started the show, I go, "There's one thing I don't miss, and that's that right there, dude. That's that right there. Oh my God, a half a day you were there. I mean, I've done it before.
Yeah.
You have to leave early because of all the security, and in your case, it was even worse because the Trumper was coming. So I would imagine that it was even worse on the security level. So yeah, oh wow, dude. Yeah, I feel for you. So yeah, you got to be dead tired after doing all that shit all day long yesterday.
Yeah. Still try to get up at a normal, regular hour, for working folks. So, but it's all right, And then, I had the pre-write ready for, I already had it pre-written, Jeff Hafley. So it's like I was outside when Pitbull was performing, when the news came out. So then, just an editor pushes it through. Everything was already in there. Just had to be updated like it happened, and boom, had that covered because I wrote that in the morning. So, and I just come in from out of town for a friend's wedding.
Right.
Tim Healy, the former Marlins writer, who's gone on to cover the Mets and Red Sox. Yeah, he was getting married in New York, so I flew back on Sunday night from that.
Wow, that is very cool. All right, so first of all, the Canes. I said last night on the post game show, and I'll stick with that. You can't be mad or pissed off or anything, but you could be sad and disappointed because they lost. But overall, dude, they weren't supposed to be there, and they had a hell of a season. They just played a team that was more mature than they were and better prepared for this kind of a moment. That's all. This Canes team was just a little green for these kind of moments. They weren't ready for that yet.
Absolutely, yeah. It didn't have the big game experience on the roster. I mean, experienced some of it maybe a little bit last year when Cam Ward took them on a little bit of a run. But even then, we're squeaking by against some lesser teams and didn't have the defense to go in and go on a run like this year. Starting off with a win against Notre Dame, then that really sets the tone that, especially with this defense. And then playing even though Florida and Florida State didn't turn out to be all that great, those were big games early in the season against rivals who still had something, they still had, Florida still had their coach for that game. Florida State was ranked and had come off a crushing upset loss to Virginia, but was a top 10 team just right before that, and they had beaten Alabama early in the season. So even USF was ranked when Miami played them. So had some big games throughout the year, and then pushing through at the end with the win against Pitt to win with style points, get in against A&M, Ohio State, Ole Miss, winning with a late drive. So a lot of experience for a lot of guys. You think about like Mark Fletcher's coming back and Malachi Toney, who is, he's doing what he did in a title game at 18, just turned 18 a few months ago. I know they're going to lose some dogs, on the line of scrimmage, especially Ruben Bain, Francis Mauinoa, but who are going to be first round picks, Akeem Mesidor, of course. But I think Cristobal is building the trenches where it'll be sustainable. I know they've got some recruits coming in from behind them where you don't have to worry too much about losing the big guys up front. and then obviously they're going to hit the portal every year. So, yeah, I think the future's still bright.
Give me a big dog receiver to go next to Malachi. You don't have a big dog receiver, and you got to get a playmaking tight end, bro. You got
that was lacking.
every great offense has a playmaking tight end, and the Canes throughout their history always had awesome tight ends to help them out. Miami had no tight ends, dude. They had no tight ends. Even the Vegas kid, he was all right before he got injured, but he wasn't what we are, what we're used to with the Bubba Franks of the world or the Chazinskis or
you're Brevin Jordan from a few years back.
Or the Soldiers. Even Brevin Jordan was a hell of a talent. We knew he was very injury prone, but shit, when Devin Jordan was playing, he was going to ball. You know what I'm saying? So they have to get back to having a constant tight end in there with all their offenses, because if you go back to the history, it's like a tight end U. There was always a tight end usually in all the great teams, pretty much. You know what I mean? And to me, a guy like Carson Beck, who is not an elite quarterback, he's a good quarterback. You got to give him that. So next year, when you bring in Darian Mensah, make sure you give him a playmaking tight end.
Yeah. It's big. I mean, it hurt having Elijah Lofton out. He was a little bit of that guy in spurts.
He's all right. He's all right.
Right? He's not someone you're going to count on to be a big playmaker.
Bubba Franks, bro. It's not Bubba Franks. It's not.
It's not. Yeah. What I grew up on was they had Bubba Franks, went from him to Jeremy Shockey, went from him to Kellen Winslow II, went from him to Greg Olson, even had Kevin Everett in the mix. Like, that was just one after the other. You always had a good tight end in the early 2000s with the Miami Hurricanes.
No. This is all from the 80s on, bro. They've always
you were mentioning those guys. Yeah.
The whole history has always, all the good teams, all these QBs had a tight end that they could count on, bro. Always. And they did not have that at all this year. And you better get that again. You got to have it, bro. Every offense has got to have it. Even the Miami Dolphins. Every offense has got to have it. You know what I'm saying? And don't get a guy that can only play a couple of games because he's injured most of the other time. You know what I'm saying? Miami Dolphins. So get a guy that can play all the time, too. All right.
Just to wrap up that point, it makes it so much easier for the quarterback. Because you don't have to go outside to the perimeter so often, especially with the hash marks the way they are in college. Like, if you go to the far side, those are long throws where the ball's in the air a lot. If you have someone who can dominate the middle, makes it easier. That's why young quarterbacks in the NFL, the saying is always they love to go to the tight end because it's a shorter throw, middle of the field. You can see them easier. So college quarterbacks, I mean, they're going to want that even more. It'll be a must for the Canes coming up.
High percentage pass. Too bad Mike McDaniel figured that out very late in his run, but he's a moron. But that's a whole different ball game. All right,
that's in the past now.
The Hafley stuff. I was talking about this. None of us know, dude. You wanted Harbaugh. Well, we got Harbaugh. His name was JJ. We got Harbaugh. His name was Saban. We got Harbaugh. His name was Parcells. You got the sexy name, and you've gotten the unsexy names. The Joe Philbins and the Cam Camerons of the world and the Mike McDaniels. These were all unsexy guys that weren't really high on the radars and all that kind of stuff and all that. We had to see if we got to like them or whatever. So you've tried it all. You've failed on all of them. But the one thing none of us really know is if John Eric Sullivan can do the job or if Jeff Hafley can do the job. Let's just sit back and give him a chance. That's all we can do, dude. Really. That's all. There's really nothing that we can all stand on. Sullivan has a resume that he has earned this opportunity. Hafley has a resume that he has earned this kind of an opportunity. So this is the next step for each gentleman. Let's just find out, dude. To me, that's the attitude I think you got to take.
Yeah, it's like, all right. So the lead in my story was it's looking like Green Bay Packers South right now is what the Dolphins are building. So, hey, not a bad franchise to go build yourself off of and try to move off of everything that has plagued you in the past. So, I haven't met John Eric Sullivan myself. He hasn't been introduced to the media yet. I know that'll be coming in a joint presser between him and new coach Jeff Hafley. So we'll get that at some point this week. But I liked a lot of the things that he said in the in-house interview that the Dolphins released. It's building a sustainable winner, one that can go into any elements and win, which, hey, the Dolphins, they're always going into a Buffalo, into a New England. Shoot, those are the two top teams in the AFC East right now. One of them in the AFC Championship game. Another one who has Josh Allen, will still have Josh Allen for several years to come, and was just an overtime away from facing the Patriots in this coming AFC Championship game. So, you have a tough division where you have to go into some elements sometimes. If you want to win on the road in the postseason, you have to. So I like his idea of, one, being able to build a team that can win in any setting, but then also building through the draft, which is what he's ultimately and imminently going to have to do. You're taking over. I mean, this is going to be a rebuild. I don't know if he'll use the word rebuild when he speaks to the media, when he's introduced this week, but that's what we're looking at, because you're about to have to move on from Tua, take on the huge dead cap hit. You're not going to go making a bunch of free agency splash moves. You got some draft picks. You got a couple of draft classes that you're inheriting, some building blocks that you're inheriting, but it's going to be about building through the draft, hitting on these picks. Doesn't matter. You won some games last year, so you're picking 11th instead of like top 5 or something, where it could have looked at 1-6 or 2-7. Well, it's about hitting on your picks, not where you're picking. So that'll be the immediate focus, building a staff for Jeff Hafley, figuring out what they do at quarterback, if they bring in another Packer and Malik Willis and have him compete with Quinn Ewers, who you already have as the incumbent from late in the season. So do we really know about Jeff Hafley? We don't. We look at it on the surface and say, all right, he was 22-26 at Boston College in those 4 seasons. So, sub 500 college coach. Well, why should he be an NFL head coach? I actually, last night, I heard from a lot of national college writers who knew him from covering him those years, and they all had positive remarks about him and saying you can't really put that on him. That's a tough gig to have, is to try to go win at BC with that program. I mean, we're seeing it with Bill O'Brien afterwards. So they put no blame on him for that record. And there's a reason why he's been coveted this coach hiring cycle. And he's been interviewing with just about every team that has an opening outside of maybe, the Giants looked like they were set on Harbaugh and they got their guy, but mostly every other team.
BC doesn't have an NIL, deal like some of the other schools in the ACC. That's why I was talking about it yesterday. Bill O'Brien's 9-16 right now. So the guy really isn't kicking ass in 2 years there because it's really difficult to win. Tom O'Brien went 75-45. Dan Hennings, who's a good coach, he went 16-19 back in the day with BC, and he was a good coach overall. Jack Bicknell was a very good coach, 59-55. Tom Coughlin went 21-13. Frank Leahy, who's a legend, went 20-2. But these were more of the earlier days with BC, when you were able to compete a little bit more, when Flutie was winning, a national title and all that kind of shit. It was a little different back then for college football. But as time has gone on, it's become a little harder. And so when you look at his record and you look at Bill O'Brien, who's 9-16, and he's 21-26 in the same era of the NIL, you got to say, okay, well, then he's a little bit better than Bill O'Brien. And Bill O'Brien was a successful assistant coach, in the NFL, and a successful head coach at times too in college. So all of a sudden, you got a little bit of a measuring stick. And I'm with you. All you hear are positive things. But in the end, dude, everybody's got to prove themselves. So we'll find out if you can do it. But the point is, Boston College has produced some pretty good coaches.
Yeah. And like you said, everyone's got to prove themselves. Even John Harbaugh, it's not guaranteed for him in New York with the Giants or in New Jersey with the Giants.
Right.
going to have to go prove it. It's not like, oh, just automatically he's going to go turn them into a winner now because he's John Harbaugh. And you mentioned it, how Dolphins have had those sexy coaching hires. They got their Saban in the past. They got their Jimmy Johnson in the past. So, and you really couldn't go into this coaching search with the expectation that the Dolphins, with this situation, were going to go land the big fish as the head coach in this cycle. It was going to be one of the most likely those first-time head coaches trying to break in, or maybe one of the failed at his first spot head coach, like it might have been a Saleh, let's say. Stefanski, he ended up getting snatched up by Atlanta before the Dolphins made their move. He was the second one after Harbaugh. So it was never going to be like the biggest name this cycle. They would never be in the running for Tomlin once he became available.
No,
I don't really think Sean McDermott, unless he wanted to do the funniest thing ever and go to the Dolphins and try to beat Buffalo, switching rivals in the AFC East. You're going in a situation where you're taking on the huge dead cap hit with Tua as soon as that contract is off the books and he's released. So it's just you're taking something that it's going to take 1 year to then really start a rebuild where maybe you keep some pieces here and there, but outside of that, it's going to be really a fresh start and one where you're hampered by that dead money from Tua for the first season at least. So not one of the most desirable jobs for the big head coach of the cycle, like a Harbaugh.
If I'm the Raiders, I go after Sean McDermott.
Yeah.
Because why? Because Brian Dable is also available. So Sean McDermott and Brian Dable can be reunited again with the Raiders, and you're drafting Mendoza.
Mendoza. Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense for the Raiders at this point in time, because they are, even though they're a disaster of an organization, have been, maybe the whole Brady thing, and now that you're getting Mendoza, that makes you look a little sexier at this point in time or whatever. I don't know. But that would be a place that I could see McDermott and Dable ending up in.
I like that, yeah. And do the Josh Allen thing again, but you've got Dable sticking around. I think it'll take him some more time to get back into the head coaching ranks, which he would need to have success back as an OC to get back into it. But Fernando Mendoza, he is no Josh Allen physically, but boy, he looked like him on that touchdown run, just shedding off a tackler. I was in the press box on the very far end, and the way he got hit, I was like, yeah, no way. I thought the ball might have been loose. I thought maybe there was a fumble, and then all of a sudden I see his body is still diving into the end zone. I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah. And by the way, you heard the coach talk about it after. That was a play design, and they knew the formation that the Canes would be in, and they expected that formation, and they created the blocking scheme, and that was the design play for it. And then he ends up, it was really more designed to get the first down, which he easily got.
Yeah.
But then he fought his way all the way into the end zone. So it became obviously a career highlight for him, and a highlight reel for college football now. That's going to be on highlight reels all over when they start promoting the college football playoffs. Mendoza's going to be diving in the end zone, because that's just we saw John Elway do it for years. Yeah. So this is going to be the same kind of thing. And Nat Moore did it for us. He had a helicopter one too.
Okay.
Yeah. You should look at the Nat Moore helicopter one. But those kind of moments are going to stick. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was a hell of a moment. And coaching, it shows you how coaching is so important, dude, because it puts your players in positions to be successful. It's up to them to make the play, but to have the foresight to know that it's coming and then to predetermine it and design it to block it properly. As Gnarls Barkley would say, ain't that some shit?
And Corey Heatherman, actually, he said afterwards that he wanted to call a timeout, but obviously just it didn't get it in. But like he saw it and then could see the way it was going, wanted to call a timeout, and then ultimately the Canes did not. So yeah, he could tell the formation was not what they needed for the look, and then Indeed, next thing you know, Indiana snapping the ball. It's a ball, which is ballsy. Design quarterback draw on 4th and 4, where if you're Curt Cignetti, you look foolish and flat out stupid if you fail on that 4th down after burning another timeout. He lost 2 timeouts. If they would have still been up 3 and just turned the ball over on downs, and now Miami's got it, boy, we're not talking about Curt Cignetti the same way we are today if that doesn't go his way there.
No doubt about it. And don't forget, folks, Welt Rheaume, proud sponsors of our program, 954-966-4646. If you're dealing with bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury, call them, explain your situation. The consultation is free. All right, so tell me, are we going to have a dope summer?
A dope summer? Well, what's a dope summer to you?
Come on, bro. Use your intelligence. What am I asking you? Indirectly. Are we going to have a dope summer?
I'm not following, Big O. What? You must be more hip than I am.
Who wants something to be dope?
Sorry, I lost you there.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's over 260 people watching. Would you tell this man who wants something to be dope? Please put it on the chat board. I know that it might have gone this way on you, but there's other people that know exactly what I'm doing right now. Come on. Let's see on the chat board. Who wants a dope?
Let me know.
Summer? I know it means cool, dude. There we go, Nyborg. Is this going to be a dope summer? Tua would like a new start. That would be dope. So
that would be dope.
See how they're coming in now. Those are a little delayed, and those are all real. See, they picked up on it. Okay, so are we going to have a summer?
I hear the word around a lot. So Tua was the first one. I got it.
Right, but he wasn't mentioned by John Eric Sullivan. We all think he's going to get released and they're going to move on, which is what makes sense for everybody. So what's your gut tell you? Will it be a dope summer? Will we have a cut of the umbilical cord?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's a foregone conclusion at this point. I think certainly you saw it once, or you would feel that way. You would lean that way once you saw Tua was benched at the end of the season. So I think that marked the end of it for Tua. And then not only that, now Tua's GM is gone. Tua's coach is gone. If Mike McDaniel was returning, I don't think Tua was going to be back for him. He had just benched them, and it was going to be Quinn Ewers. I mean, what Mike McDaniel was saying while he still had the job day after on Black Monday was it'll be competition for quarterback, and I don't think that meant Tua was going to be part of it. I think that meant Tua was going to be released, and Quinn Ewers would get a shot against mystery other competing quarterback. I would venture to believe that the new regime coming in with no ties to Tua is going to look at that and say, we got to get this off the books, and we're going to start anew. It's going to make it very difficult to build any kind of immediate winner in 2026. But, hey, that lets you go build through the draft, this draft coming up, the one that's after that, and so on and so forth. So,
and by the way, you said before, which you don't know, and it's true, what you said is 100%, that we don't know if they'll say that they've got to rebuild, but it's obvious, bro. I mean, you have all this cap issues. It's all right if you have to say that you have to reset, retool, rebuild, whatever stupid adjective you want to use to kind of, whatever word salad, bro. I don't really give a crap. But anybody with a brain, I'm sure you have a brain. I'm sure you could figure out that you can't really expect a whole lot next year from the Dolphins. You just got to hope that you can show competency next year, that you're going to play like a respectable football team. But we all know they're going to be short on talent because they're going to be short on money.
Right. Yeah.
Come on.
Put 2 and 2 together. Yeah. It's not probably the extreme of what Brian Flores started with in 2019, where I thought that might be the least talented roster. I was covering UM at the time, and I was saying, just watching from afar, the Dolphins, I was like, that might be the record for the least talented roster, like adjusted for the era, and the guys you're going against of all time. It would be the 2019 Dolphins. And then Flores actually showed like he was building a culture where then they started winning these games surprisingly at the end, pulled off 5 wins. I mean, that's really one of the most remarkable coaching jobs, is to get 5 wins out of that 2019 Dolphins roster. So I don't know if you're looking for something like that, where it's just, hey, the expectations aren't high. Just show that you have some kind of culture. Show, even if the results aren't immediately there, because that's going to come once you have your guys in there. But I think culture is more so what I'm looking at first and foremost, which, I think you want to see one that's based on physicality, winning the trenches. That's how Miami, the Hurricanes got back, is prioritizing building inside out, the trenches first, and then you go from there. You're going to be in every ball game. If you're winning up front, you're going to have a chance against any opponent if you can win up front. And of course, you got to have some speed. But that's even easier when you're in South Florida. You can go. You'll find your speed. You'll be okay there. It's make sure you can manhandle people up front in the trenches.
Are you expecting them to clear out like Chubb, and like that's why I wanted Chubb traded before the deadline, because I would figure you're going to let him go at the end of the year because of the cap issues and all that kind of stuff. So what other names do you think might be cleared off? I know Tyreek and Chubb is probably one too. Is there a name that we're not thinking of?
Yeah, definitely. So I'll go from the top down. I mean, Tua, which doesn't help you with the dead cap, but you just got to do it to start moving on.
Caveat to that. Wait a minute. A caveat to the Tua thing. You also have to let him go on June 1st, because if you do keep him and commit to him extra, do you end up paying more money if he suffers any kind of injuries?
Sorry, if he suffers an injury, what?
Are you tied to even more money by the end? Like when you're getting out now in the summer, it's a bad number, but could the number be slightly worse if you keep him on and he gets injured and then you, I don't know, have to fulfill the entire contract? I'm not exactly sure how much they might be slightly saving off of that, if they are. I'm talking out of pure ignorance here. So that's why I ask you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if any injury from a future team that has him would impact anything.
No. You don't release him in the summer. You keep him for next year, and some or another he suffers an injury. Are you ended by the time that contract is done, because the injury will end up probably accelerating some other guarantee or something. I don't know what the triggers are, dude. But I almost feel like if you do keep him on the roster and you risk it keeping another year, do you risk end up paying a little bit more money than you already are? That's my point. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm not sure on that. I mean, if you keep him on the roster, which I feel would just be such a small chance of it happening, then I mean, because that was always the natural. Your first out was after the 2026 season, where you don't have to go deal with the big dead cap. I mean, you'd be in a good situation financially, where then you get actually it's like $21 million in savings 2027 if you were to cut him then after having him on the roster in 2026. I think it'd be more feasible salary cap wise, but it's just a matter of, can you realistically do that after he was just. But now it's a whole new regime, so they could also decide, hey, like that was them. We'll keep you around for this year, let you go do your thing, which actually, before he was benched, that was kind of my thought, is just use the first natural out, which is after 2026. So, but I'm not sure how, if he were to get injured within the 2026 season, how that would affect, because, I mean, I think then I think at that point in 2026, it would only be in season cap ramifications anyway, because you've already
sometimes
gone to the agency.
Sometimes an injury will trigger the following year some kind of a bonus or something because of the injury will guarantee that they'll be on the roster or some crap like that. That's why I don't know how the whole thing is written out. But sometimes if you keep somebody on a roster, because I know the Russell Wilson thing was also an issue that they were worried and they wanted to keep him away because if he got injured, they were going to be responsible for even more money. And so that's the only reason why I say that maybe you also want to get out, because just in case you have him running the scout team and he makes the wrong step and he blows a knee, and then all of a sudden you're held more responsible for more into the next season when you had an out like you were talking about. That's those are the clauses I don't know in his contract right now. So that's why I'm saying I agree with you. I think this summer, June 1st, you're going to take that partial hit on each side and just move on and just say, bro, let's turn the page. And by the way, this gives John Eric Sullivan an opportunity to get rid of somebody else's mistake, because if he keeps them for 1 year, it starts to add to his legacy. And that's probably not the way he wants to start. Just saying.
It'd be such an awkward situation. Just Tua's still around. He said it'd be dope to go get a fresh start elsewhere. Hey, it'd kind of be a fresh start when it's a new regime with the Dolphins. But that's neither here nor there. But to answer your original question, you're looking at a Bradley Chubb. You're looking at a Minkah Fitzpatrick, possibly Austin Jackson. Depending on what you can get for, because Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle, those were the hot targets at the trade deadline. I
would let go Austin Jackson. I would not let go Austin Jackson. He's too cheap. He's not an expensive piece.
Yeah, no, and you wouldn't be set to save too much. I pulled up the chart here in front of me. Cutting him gives you 13.7 million dead cap and 1.6 of savings. So not great. Yeah, trading, same thing. So it's dead money that hits you with Austin Jackson. So it wouldn't be beneficial from a salary cap.
What's his salary this year? It's not a crippling salary, dude.
Base salary 9.8, and he's got a 15.3 cap number. So, it's significant, but it's just you don't stand to save from moving on from him. Actually, yeah.
Because if he does stay healthy, you're not going to find a better right tackle, and whoever you have at quarterback, Jesus Christ, protect the man.
Yeah, and has been good in the run game. He bulldozes guys. You can run right all day with him there.
Yes. So, I would take it and keep. I understand the Chubb one. I understand Tua. I understand Tyreek. I don't understand Minkah.
Sealer could be one if someone wants a veteran D tackle, but
I would not let go of Sealer. He's such a good example in the locker room.
He's a good guy in the locker room.
Yeah, this is you're going to have a transition for the next 2 years. You're going to have some rough times. I need quality human beings in the locker room to keep the morale going. You got to have a Sealer, bro. I think Sealer.
The only thing is, what's he going to be the next time you're ready to win? The next time you're ready to compete is he'll be up there.
But Bubba, you have 3 young guys you're developing, so they're not ready to take over. So what you do is you can keep Sealer for the next year or 2 or 3, and then one of the young guys can then roll over next to however it settles, if it's Grant and Phillips, Grant and Biggers and Phillips, whatever combination. But you have 3 guys, and you might end up developing 2 starters in the process, not just rotational players. And then but you need to buy some time for that. You got to, and plus you're in their rookie deals. So this will buy you time. So you keep Sealer there while you're developing those 3. And those 3 have Sealer to lean on and learn. His importance is invaluable in the locker room, on the practice field, on the playing field. To me, Sealer is one of the most important people that you keep when you're trying to do what you're trying to do right now with Hafley and this guy. You got to have some people that are quality human beings and players to kind of rebuild the whole roster around.
He's another one. where it wouldn't help you if you're trading him before June 1, but after June 1st, then you would, and it would be nominal at best. 4.6 million you'd save, trading him post June 1, but it would go against the cap actually if you trade him before. So it also wouldn't be beneficial to him. So to the franchise from the salary cap standpoint. So
yeah, because you haven't hit year 3 of those deals. That's the problem. Once you hit year 3 of those deals, then you can start to kind of make a move. And we haven't hit that for Austin, and we certainly haven't hit that for Sealer. And then
Sealer just got this money too.
Right. So you got to give it a couple years before you're going to have the flexibility that you need. That's why I'm saying that in the next 2 years, while the other youngins are developing, you can keep Sealer, and it's really not a problem. All right, what do you got going on in the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Yeah, just coming off obviously the busyness of covering the head coaching search. So now that that's complete and the Dolphins have their guy, following up on that, I think actually Perk is writing for us today after I wrote the Hafley story and covered the college title game. Then might take it easy today. Might write a little Q&A, get some fan questions in, and then later on this week they'll be introducing the new GM and coach combination for the Dolphins. So we'll have all the coverage of that.
Will they continue or I think they've discontinued the talking in the Senior Bowl? They don't do that anymore, right?
Yeah, and I don't believe that'll be happening this time around either. So even though new regime, but as far as like official,
that's been phased out, right? It kind of phased out the last couple.
Phased out a little bit, yeah. So it might be this introductory press conference that comes up, and then probably the combine, and we'll have a lot of. I mean, now Hafley's going to go build his coaching staff, so we'll have a bunch of news on the guys he builds his coaching staff with. Might look into that, and maybe we start to see some of the roster moves, maybe closer to the combine, that Sullivan starts to make on the current roster, whether it's a decision on Tua, whether it's cutting someone else pre or post June 1. We'll start to see some of that trickle down at some point. I think the next thing would be putting together the coaching staff for Hafley. That'll be the next big thing on the docket once he gets settled in, once he gets introduced and everything else. And in a month's time, it'll be we'll be at the combine.
Amen. All right. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ Catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, as always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up on Friday.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
Got it. There you go. Welt Rheaume. We love talking about Jeff and Dan. They are the bookend tackles you need. So if you're dealing with bankruptcy, which unfortunately there's a whole bunch of credit card issues right now. We've got real estate issues. People are having problems with their mortgages, homeowner property damage or condo damage or personal injury. Any of these kind of things happen. Call Jeff and Dan. Explain your situation. The consultation's free. They'll tell you if you have a case, criminal defense, commercial litigation, any of these situations you're dealing with, business owner claims, call 954-966-4646. Tons of our listeners over the last 6 years have called Welt Rheaume. Listeners in South Florida, on the Gold Coast, on the West Coast, in Central Florida, all over the place. And by the way, when you have damage to your home or your condo, your business, never call the insurance companies. You call Welt Rheaume first. They will send their adjusters because those adjusters will be working for you. When the insurance company sends their adjusters, those adjusters are working for the insurance company. So they're not going to really get what you deserve. Make sure you get the right people, and then they call the insurance company on your behalf. You never have to deal with the insurance company. That's a headache you never have to carry. It's a burden that is lifted. The only thing you do is pick up a check at Welt Rheaume. 954-966-4646.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.